And one thing I want to note before we kick things off, there are a couple of things that you'll see in the slides today that we haven't completely hammered out, things like when an email is being sent. I'm approaching today's session as though it's the one we're running on Monday. So if you see like, hey, why are you talking about today as if it's Monday, that's the reasoning for it, just because I want you all to see kind of exactly what we'll be delivering then. So, thank you for joining today's session. I'm Sam Anderson. I am a training specialist here at Hootsuite. Also on the line is Syria, who is the engagement manager. We also have Aramis from Proofpoint. They'll be providing some support today and answering any questions. Before we get into the agenda and today's training, I just want to cover a few things related to housekeeping. I am going to be keeping an eye on the chat today. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to add them in there. If you've got any sort of big questions or if you're running into any issues, if you can't see my screen, please come off mute and feel free to just interrupt me. If you've got questions about your social program, please connect with Tony or Sharon. At the end of today's session, we'll be going a little bit deeper into some of the resources available to you, including email addresses, and this deck will be shared out with you so that you have access to those. If you've got questions on the Hootsuite side of things, Syria is your first line of defense. You'll see her email as well. This call, this session is being recorded, so we'll make this call available. Check and see that you have received your email invitations, and if you have your phone in hand and you've got access to your email, feel free to walk through the steps in real time and follow along. I want to note that if you run into any issues, so for example, if you have an error message or you're not able to fully authenticate with Proofpoint, you might need to stop following along, but you can still just watch the training session and we can help you out from a technical support perspective afterwards, make sure that everything's working and get you up and running. Just want to touch a little bit on the 3 training sessions that are part of this training program. So today's session, we're really focusing on getting you up and running with Proofpoint and Amplify. On Friday, we're going to be getting into the main Hootsuite dashboard. That's where you're able to create custom content and engage with your audience. There will be a 3rd session happening in early 2019 for building your personal brand on LinkedIn. For today's training agenda, we've got 2 main areas of focus. One is Proofpoint, which is the compliance tool. The second is Hootsuite Amplify, which is an on-demand app full of really high-quality, ready-to-share content. We're going to be walking you through the setup on both of those, and then I'll show you a live demonstration of what that Hootsuite Amplify mobile app looks like. We've got time for questions and answers at the end, but again, please don't hold back. Feel free to add them into the chat, and we'll either tackle them as we go, or if there are things that are better addressed at the end, I'll shelve them for later. Just a quick note that there is a training survey that I'll be sharing out at the end of today's session. You'll see that in your follow-up email as well. Please take a few moments to provide feedback on the training I've delivered today. So I want to start by introducing you to the 2 main tools we're going to be talking about today. The first of those is Proofpoint. This is a tool that runs in the background, and it automatically ensures that anything that you post to LinkedIn, whether it's something that you're creating right from LinkedIn itself or from Hootsuite or sharing from Amplify, it'll check to see that all of that content is compliant. Getting set up is really easy. We're going to walk you through how to do that today. And then after that, it's kind of set it and forget it until you get a reminder email to just re-authenticate. And we'll talk more about that in a moment. The other tool that you've been granted access to is Hootsuite Amplify. This is a mobile app, although there is also a desktop version. I'll show you that a little bit later. This is where you don't have to do the work yourself. It's all been done for you. You can go into this app, find this incredible, ready-to-go, pre-approved content. You can sort by topic, find what's relevant to your audience and your network, and easily share it right out to LinkedIn with just a couple of taps. It's super straightforward. We're going to walk you through today how to get set up on Amplify, and then I'll show you a live version of the tool. And again, feel free to follow along today if you've got your mobile device and all of your emails. So From an onboarding perspective, there's a couple of things that we need to tackle before we can actually start sharing things out to LinkedIn. The first is that we need to authenticate your LinkedIn profile with Proofpoint. And then the second is downloading the mobile app and getting set up with your password and connecting your LinkedIn account. So the first of those two onboarding tasks is authenticating with Proofpoint. Remember, this is the compliance tool. You really only need to go through this process initially, and it'll do everything else automatically for you. And Tony, I just saw that you asked in the chat for a copy of these slides. Yeah, I'll share this deck out with you afterwards. Syria, if you want, I don't know if you can send that over to Tony right now or add a link to it in the chat so that everybody can see these slides right away.
Yes, I'll do so.
Thank you. So the first thing that we need to do is get set up with Proofpoint. You should have received a welcome email, date TBD, we're going to update this before Monday's session, and that email will be coming from Tony. In that email, there is a link to begin the process of connecting your LinkedIn account. The best bet to do this process is use Google Chrome on your desktop. Keep in mind that each business line is going to have its own unique link. So if you haven't received an email, don't ask your coworker to send you a copy of theirs. Make sure that you're getting it directly from Tony and using the correct link that corresponds to your specific business line. If you have questions on this, please check in with Syria or with Tony, and we'll make sure that you've got the correct link.
Syria,
sorry, is this just for...
Go ahead. So the email, the welcome email that I'm sending out, I'm only sending it to the people in the business that are participating, right? Right now on the call are the marketing people.
Yes,
so the people,
correct, yeah.
So the marketing people should have already connected to Proofpoint, and that's already should be done for those marketing people that are, or well, actually, or aren't they already set up?
Yes, Tony, it's just that this is a demo of the training that we're doing on Monday. So
I just want everybody to realize that I'm sending this email to the business line. Both I can copy the marketing contact when the email goes out so that you see the email.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Okay.
So yes, so I'll be sending those templates back to you, but I think it's a good idea to include this group as part of the email so they are aware of what is coming out. Yeah, we can talk about it offline, Tony. But this is
Okay.
a simulation of the training session on Monday, and by then the end users should have received a welcome email from you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just wrote it. I'm just waiting for you to take one, last look at it and send me those links and stuff. So
Yeah.
It's going to go out, if not today, tomorrow.
Yes, correct. More likely tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then once we know when those have been sent, I will be updating the slide to tell Monday's audience when that email would have actually arrived. From that email, click the link. You're going to be taken to an installation screen where you're going to enter the same email address that you received the email from, and then click continue. Note that what you're installing here is Social Patrol, which is the Proofpoint product that will be keeping everything secure. From here, you'll come to a screen where you've got an option to install to your LinkedIn profile. Click in that little link that says Install On, and then follow the prompts to add Proofpoint Social Patrol to your LinkedIn account. You'll likely be presented with a screen that is asking for your LinkedIn username and password. And you may also have a screen that asks you just to approve Social Patrol having access to your data. Agree to both of those. Once you've followed those prompts, if you were already logged into LinkedIn, it might actually save you a step and just take you right to where it's all connected. Once that's done, you'll see a confirmation screen saying, thank you for installing Social Patrol on your LinkedIn profile. Just a quick note, this authentication will last for 1 year. We will start to send you reminder emails warning you of that authentication expiring 10 days prior. Please don't ignore those emails. It's only going to take less than a minute to go back in and refresh that authentication for another full year. If you ignore those emails and your authentication expires, your account will no longer be protected, and that sets you up to potentially be at risk of being non-compliant. So you want to pay attention to those emails when they come in, and it's a very quick process. Just follow the prompts to re-authenticate, and that'll be 1 year from now. Any questions at this point related to installing Proofpoint Social Patrol to your LinkedIn profile? Okay, I'm not hearing any questions. I also am not seeing anything in the chat. I'm keeping an eye on that, so feel free to add anything in as we go. And so the second task for that onboarding checklist is that we need to get you set up in Amplify. You should have received 2 emails, the first of which will say something to the effect of "Welcome to Amplify." You want to open that email up and then download follow the links to download for your operating system. You can do this from mobile. If that link isn't working, or if you want to kind of just skip right past it, you can go straight to Google Play or the App Store, search for Hootsuite Amplify, and then download that app. It's free. It's not a huge app. It'll just take a couple of moments to install. And then from there, you're going to go back to your email. Before you open up the mobile app, go back to the second email that you received, which should be called Create Your Amplify Password. Preferably do this from your mobile device. In that email, there'll be a button that allows you to create password. Click that button. This email will expire after 72 hours, although I believe we've got it set up that if it does expire, you'll automatically receive a new one. If your link has expired, you haven't received a new one, please reach out to us. We'll make sure that you've got a new link to create your Amplify password. On mobile, click that link. It'll take you to a very simple screen that just has a field where you can enter in your password. Once you're done, click Create Password. And then you'll see a little confirmation screen saying your password has been successfully created. You'll probably also see some prompts to download the app, but because you've already done that, now all you need to do is just go and open up Amplify. The first thing you'll see is a screen where you're going to enter your email address. Make sure that you're using the same email address that you are using when you that you received this invitation to. If you use a different email address or an alias, it will not work. Once you've added in your email address, click Next. You're going to be taken to a screen that has a large prompt to receive a secure link. Ignore that part. Down toward the bottom, you've got an option here to sign in with password. You're going to want to do that instead. The reason for that is we're finding that the BNY firewall is blocking your ability to open some of these links. So if you click that send secure link and then go to your email, it might not actually take you back to the app. So all you need to do is down at the bottom, click sign in with password. Then enter in the password that you just created. Amplify is great. It's going to leave you logged in until you do something. So if you log out or go to change your password, that'll kick you out of the app. But otherwise, you'll stay logged in for months. It's wonderful. Enter the password that you just put in. Click sign into Amplify. And then the first thing you'll see the first time that you open up the app is likely a prompt to turn on notifications. Please opt in. You can change this later, so if you find that you are proactively looking at the app and you don't need to push notifications, you can turn them off later. Push notifications are used pretty sparingly, and we set it up so that your administrators can alert you to really important pieces of content. You likely won't receive very many push notifications. From here, you're in the mobile app. The first thing we need to do when we get into the app before we can start browsing and sharing content is actually connect your LinkedIn account. And the way you're going to do that is in the bottom navigation panel, you'll see 3 options, and the one furthest to the right is a little gray profile button. You're going to tap on that. That's going to take you to your profile, and then to get into settings, click that gear icon up in the top right corner. Now, once you're in settings, you'll have an option to connect LinkedIn. Tap that, and it's going to open up a little screen that gives you the option of connecting with your LinkedIn username and password. Remember that it's the username and password that you use for LinkedIn might not be the same as your credentials for Amplify. So think back to whatever you normally sign into LinkedIn with, the same ones that you likely use during that Proofpoint authentication. Once you've added in your email and password, you'll come to a little screen that says Hootsuite would like to, and it's basically where you are giving us access to post on your behalf. Now, you'll still always have to go into the app and actually select the content that you want to share out. It'll never happen automatically for you, but you'll need to click allow for us to be able to publish directly to your LinkedIn account. So those are the two main areas that we wanted to look at from an onboarding perspective. The first one is making sure that you've installed Proofpoint Social Patrol into your LinkedIn profile. And then the second is downloading that app, creating your password, and once you've logged into the app with that freshly created password, going through the steps to connect LinkedIn into your Amplify mobile app.
And Sam, this is Tony. Proofpoint Social Patrol, that's pretty much the only time the user will ever have to really engage with Social Patrol, right? That's just to link them to it, and then the Social Patrol is managed through compliance and legal and registered rep, FINRA 24 approvals and things like that, right? They won't have to go into Proofpoint.
Yeah, except for that every year when it expires, they'll have to go back in and re-authenticate.
Yep.
So Amy asked a question in the chat, does the permission to post on behalf of, does it apply to all users or just the executives? So that authentication, that ability to publish to LinkedIn is only for that specific LinkedIn account and that specific instance of Amplify. It's not opening up your LinkedIn account to be published to by anybody else. Administrators won't be able to publish to it unless that is something you specifically want, and then that's kind of a separate conversation about teams and workflows. But otherwise, all it's doing is allowing Amplify on your phone to publish to your LinkedIn account. Hopefully that answers your question. Please let me know, Amy, if you've got any other questions around that.
No, that's great. Thank you.
Awesome. So if there aren't any other questions at this point, we're going to jump into the mobile app. Now you should be able to see my device. This will sometimes have a little bit of a lag on it. If you run into any issues or if this isn't updating for you, please let me know. From here, you're going to open up Amplify. You probably just had it open because you've created that password and then you've gone in and logged into the app. And from here, when you first open it up, it's going to take you to your home feed. Down at the bottom, you'll see three options, one for home, one for content, and one for profile. And home is always where we land. Now, your administrators will be adding new content into this app, probably on a regular basis. It's likely that you'll see new content even a few times a week, if not every day. When you first come in, recent content will show right at the top. So it's likely that every time you come in here, you'll see new pieces of content. Before we start browsing and sharing, I want to talk a little bit about some of the profile settings. So from the bottom right corner, go into profile. You'll remember that we were in here earlier because this is where you can access settings from the top right corner gear icon, and that's where you can connect your LinkedIn account. Under settings, you've also got an option for manage topics. Right now, there are 4 pieces of content and 2 different topics available in the app. You'll likely see both of these grow. So there'll be more and more topics added. You'll see more content added as well. You need to be subscribed to at least one topic. And in this case, I'm just going to stay subscribed to both of these. It's possible that when you first log into the app, you may also, after that push notifications question, receive an option to select your topics right away. If you do select them right away, you can always come back in and edit them. You're never locked into these topics. So if I didn't want one of these, I could just tap in, and it's super simple. Even if you haven't subscribed to a topic, you'll still be able to see everything associated with it. So this is a nice way of curating your home feed, but you can still go and explore everything else and share it out to LinkedIn, even if you're not part of the topic. From the top left, I'm just going to click that back arrow to get back to settings. If you ever need to sign out, you can do so down at the bottom. You can adjust your notifications here as well. And then if I go back one more time, that takes me back to my profile. Now, if you tap into your photo, it'll probably be a little gray person avatar to start. You can upload a photo if you want. That's nice because you'll see it in the leaderboard. You can also add in your title, adjust your name in case you go by John and it's defaulting to Jonathan. And then from there, you can just click continue and save those. Now, when you're looking at your profile, you've got a little summary of what's been going on. So here you can see that I've shared a few articles, haven't read any yet, and honestly, this is going to my demo LinkedIn account. So my engagement is gonna just stay a donut because nobody's actually looking at that account. But for all of you, you'll start to see what sort of engagement you're getting on your posts once they've been shared out to LinkedIn. There's also a leaderboard. So right now you'll see I'm ranked #1. That's not going to last long. One of you is going to come in and destroy me for sure. But as it stands, I'm the only person using this. So you can see that there is a little bit of a competitive aspect to this. It's sharing the content. If you ever move into the leaderboard, you'll get a little pop-up in the app telling you like, you're ranked #3, you're ranked #2. So I'm going to go back to the home feed. And
Dan,
this is where
Tony. I just have another question.
Yeah.
So I shared a piece of content just now for like the first time because we just started loading content in, and it's not showing up under that little summary that it was shared.
Yeah, I've noticed that there sometimes is a delay. So
okay.
If you come into here and refresh it, when I was playing around with it yesterday, it seemed like it was taking 30 seconds or so to update the number of shares. If you're seeing consistent issues with that, please let us know and we'll check into that. But sometimes it's not super instantaneous. It's going to double check that it was successfully published.
Yeah, I shared it like 10 minutes ago and nothing's up, but I keep.
And it's still not showing?
Yeah, so you guys may want to log that as a potential issue. Yeah.
Syria, can you make a note just that, I'm sorry, and that, and Mandy as well. So we've got a couple people reporting that their shares aren't updating even though they shared 10 minutes ago.
Yes, Mandy, did you share 10 minutes ago as well?
Mandy, let us know.
Sorry, easier to talk than type. Yeah, it was about the same.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll take a look. Thanks.
All right. So I'm going to go back to my home feed down at the bottom. Here it's going to show the latest content. It's typically going to show you content that you have not yet shared. As soon as you share something out, you'll see it disappear from your home screen, but you can still go and browse to it. So I've got one piece of content available here at the top. You'll be able to see that it's under a particular topic, which is thought leadership. Pieces of content can belong to more than one topic, so sometimes you'll see a comma and a second topic listed there. And in some instances, if there are big announcements that kind of apply to everybody, regardless of what you're working on, some things will also just be badged as everyone, and you'll see it even if it otherwise belongs to some separate topics as well. Within this, if I just tap anywhere into the text for that post, that's going to take me into a full look at this. Now, in some instances, it'll populate the article right within the app. Depending on where that link is going to, it won't always do it. So in this case, we're not seeing the whole article, but I'll navigate to another piece and I'll show you what that looks like. From here, if I want to like this post, I can. That's a nice way of kind of saving it for later. If you want to come back, you'll be able to see it in your activity. It also signals to your administrators that you're a fan of that piece of content. And then at the bottom, there's an option to share this post. Here, that LinkedIn button is lit up bright blue. If it has a check mark on it, that indicates that you've already shared this, but I haven't shared this piece just yet. All I need to do is tap that LinkedIn, and here I'm presented with a couple of options. Now, my recommendation would be either choose Share Now or to manually pick a time. Schedule for me is an option, but the default will give you 5 posts per day, which can be a lot of content to share out on LinkedIn. So my recommendation would be choose when you want this item to go by picking a specific date and time. Or if you haven't shared anything just yet, you can tap into it and right away just go Share Now. You'll see that there is a little check mark over that LinkedIn icon indicating that I've already shared it. If I tap it again, it'll still let me share it more than once, but that's a good indicator to keep an eye out for so that you're not inadvertently posting repeat content. Now, I recommend that you familiarize yourself with the content that you see here, particularly because you are posting this to be a thought leader, to hopefully cause some engagement on your LinkedIn channel, and you want to be ready to answer any questions, or if somebody responds on it, you don't want to have to go back and see what you posted and read the article. But if you're ever kind of crunched for time and you don't really want to read it, it's fine. Everything that's in here is compliant. You don't have to worry about the quality of the content. You can push it out and there won't ever be anything included that is not compliant. So it's nice from that perspective. You're sleepy Monday morning on the train heading into work. Don't worry. You don't have to read through every single detail here. You can rest assured that your administrators have created great content for you. So we only had 4 pieces of content in Amplify, and I've already shared out all of them. You probably will not see this often, if ever. As more and more content is added in here, it's unlikely that you'll be sharing every single thing out. But right now it's telling me there isn't anything new for me to take a look at. What I can do is just follow that link to check out past posts. And here I can get into my full feed of content. If I scroll through here, down at the bottom is that thought leadership piece that we just went through the process of sharing. I can see that there's a few other pieces within here as well. And there is a little check mark. Right underneath this top piece, there's a little blue check indicating that I've already shared this. Again, I can share this too. I can either right from here, click share, and tap that check mark to repost it to LinkedIn. If I want to know more about this article, I can tap into the text. And here's an example of where it will pull in all of the content related to that post. Most of the time, you'll see the article pull into Amplify. Sometimes we aren't able to display it within here just due to the permissions associated with that site. So if you ever see just the summary at the top and the link, but not the article below, you can tap that link to open it up in your mobile browser and view it from there. This image, as well as this entire piece of text up to the link, that is what will actually be published on LinkedIn when you send it out. And then that link will drive people to this article down below. And here is where it's a good idea to kind of scan through, make sure that this is relevant to your audience, relevant to your network, and that you are aware of what's included in it in case you get any questions or conversation. If you're already in the article, from the bottom, you can share right from here. Or if you go back to your feed, remember you've got share buttons here as well. So you don't necessarily have to go into it to be able to share it out. As we scroll down, you'll see the rest of those, same thing, tap in. You can view all of it from here. You can like this post as well and share it out. And you're starting to see that we've got other people sharing things as well. We've got 3 shares, 2 shares, so that's exciting. You'll start to see those numbers increase as your coworkers are also sharing things out. Now, anytime that you see a topic, you can just tap into it to see all of the content associated with that specific topic. So if I tap into thought leadership, now I can see the 3 pieces associated with it. If I don't want to be subscribed to this anymore, in the top right corner, I can just unsubscribe right from here, or I can tap back in. If I go back out, same thing down here for PR and media. There's only 1 piece of content associated with that. As you're in this content area, we're not able to see it right now because there's only 2 topics, but at the bottom, you'll see some additional options to start browsing for additional topics to which you have not yet subscribed. On the home feed, you'll also see popular content that you haven't yet shared. Again, on Monday when we go through this, there'll probably be more in here that I haven't yet interacted with, so you'll see some items within here. Popular are things that are getting a lot of shares, reads, and likes right now and over the past few days from your audience. It's also going to take a look at what sort of engagement people are getting. And that's nice because if there's a ton of content in here and you're not really sure where to start, you can take a look at the popular content, see if it's something that you think your network might like as well, and then you can post that out. Under that content tab, Up at the top right, here you've got a different view of topics, which for whatever reason is not populating for me right now. So let me take that offline and figure out why that's not showing up. What this should show you is a little preview of all of your topics, and you can subscribe or unsubscribe from them right from here. I'm not sure why that's not populating for us, and that's okay. I'll dig into that afterwards and we'll follow up. In the top left corner, there's a little light bulb icon. From here, you have the option of suggesting content to your administrators. So say, for example, you find a really great article or you've taken a fantastic photo at an event. What you can do is come in here and suggest a link or suggest an image. If I go suggest a link, I can add in whatever link I want. I can say a little bit about that. So if you find a really great article, it's great to add in some extra context around why you think the administrators should review that, possibly push it into Amplify. Images as well, once you attach an image, you will be able to say something about it too. Now keep in mind that your administrators are going to review this content. There's never any guarantee that they'll actually push it out, but it is a nice way of sharing great things that you find with them. They will go and review it. They'll make sure that content is compliant, and then it'll be pushed into Amplify under its relevant topics. So if you are suggesting things, keep an eye out. Over the next day or two, you might actually see it come into the app. And then from here, once you've said what that link is, what you want to say about it, you'll just click send, and then that will show up in the queue of posts for your administrators to evaluate. I just want to check in. I'm seeing some questions coming in on the chat, but I think, Syria, is there anything that I need to address right now, or are you handling it all?
I can handle it right now. Amy was asking if they can use Amplify to post on behalf of the user. The response is no, this is like for the end user benefit. However, we will show you tomorrow how you can post on behalf of somebody else through the Hootsuite dashboard.
Yes, exactly. So here, I don't want to actually suggest this post, so I'm just going to discard it, and that's going to take me back to content, which is the middle tab at the bottom, and that's where I'm sitting right now. So you'll see the same pieces of content in different places depending on which part of the tool you're browsing in. This is super easy to use. You're going to see new content in here regularly. You'll also see content expire. Keep in mind, if something is set to expire, that you will want to be mindful of when you're scheduling it out. So for example, toward the holidays, it's possible you'll get some maybe Christmas-related content. Ensure that when you are scheduling it is a time that makes sense. And for other things that are time-sensitive, like promotions and whatnot, you'll see those disappear from the app if your administrators have set them to expire. But again, ensure that when you are sharing something out, and you are choosing to pick a time. If it's Christmas content, make sure you're not posting it after December 26th, for example. Now, from here, you're not able to go in and view your scheduled content, but when we take you into the full Hootsuite dashboard, part of that allows you to create custom content and also manage all of your scheduled content. Within your planner, where all of your scheduled content is, you'll see anything that you have scheduled from within Amplify. Now, if we go back to profile, we might see some updates on the leaderboard. Yep, a few other people have started sharing things out. I'm still #1, so I invite one of you to kind of dethrone me. And then from within here, you can keep an eye on that. That'll show you the last 30 days. And then we've got our activity down below. So as I'm sharing things or liking things, I'll be able to come back and see this. This is useful for those instances where maybe you liked something, but you hadn't quite had a chance to finish reading it or share it out. I can go and look at that content that I've liked, view it from my activity screen, and then from here, I've got the options of sharing or scheduling for later. And that's it. It's a super simple app. It's something that's handy to come in and check on maybe a few times a week, schedule some content for today, schedule some for tomorrow, post something out right away. If you are new to posting on LinkedIn, I would recommend kind of starting a little bit slow. So try 3 posts per week or maybe 1 post per day. As you are increasing your engagement and you are seeing what sort of response you're getting from your audience, you'll have a better understanding of what's going to resonate with them. And then you can, from there, tailor the topics that you have within the app and share content that's more likely to be a good fit for them. And from there, you can increase the volume. Sometimes it's a little bit startling if somebody goes from never posting on LinkedIn to posting 10 times per day. So make sure that as you're growing that social presence, that you're kind of doing it in a way that is organic and scalable, so that you can go in and monitor the engagement, respond to any sort of questions or comments, reach out to people, and really foster that conversation that Amplify is designed to create. Let me know if there are any questions at this point on the mobile app. I'm scanning through the chat just to see if there's, oh, sorry, what's the question?
Yeah, hey, it's Mandy again. So what I was trying to ask in the chat was, when the execs go through this Amplify training, maybe I misunderstood, will they ever be able to use their Amplify app on their mobile device to tweak the content when we post, like, hey, I'm at Conference X, so excited to be here? Can they change that Conference X to whatever the name of the conference is in the mobile app, or does that have to be done in the dashboard?
It has to be done in the dashboard, right, guys? I mean, that was one of the issues we faced.
Yes, and Mandy, the reason why they're not going to be able to tweet it is because they will have to add maybe an image, a photo, a link, and that can be done only through the Hootsuite dashboard, not Amplify.
So as it stands, the content that they see within Amplify, you'll be posting exactly what this looks like, this top piece right to the bottom of that link. And then if they wanted to make any changes to it, they would be doing that through the Hootsuite dashboard. So what they could do from that point is schedule it. Then they can go to desktop, view their planner, access all of their scheduled content, and make changes if they want to. Or they can just create brand new custom content. So if it is something simple like, I'm at blah, blah, blah conference, come see me at booth whatever, they might just create that from scratch. Are there any other questions around the mobile app before I give you a quick tour of the desktop version? All right, not seeing any questions about the app. So just want to call out, if you're ever at your computer and you'd rather work from desktop instead of your mobile device, you can go to amplify.hootsuite.com, and this is going to take you to all of the same content that's available within the mobile app. Now for things like connecting LinkedIn, you'll need to do that through the app, so use the app for onboarding. But once you're all set up, you can come to amplify.hootsuite.com and view things from here. Within this, you can click into this content. It'll take you out to that article. You can view everything from here. And you can just click to share as well. Share post to LinkedIn. Same options to pick a time or share now. And then that's been shared out to LinkedIn. I can also see the topics that I've subscribed to. And then under settings, I can manage the topics to which I'm subscribed as well. Things like updating your profile photo and seeing leaderboard, you'll want to go to the app for those. You can also suggest content right from within the desktop version as well. So this is helpful if you are planning on making some edits to your content. Sometimes a nice workflow is to open up Hootsuite in one tab, open up Amplify in another, schedule some content from Amplify, go find it in Hootsuite. We'll show you how to do that on Friday. And then from there, you can add in your extra content before it gets published out. And remember that Proofpoint will be monitoring everything published to your LinkedIn account to ensure that it is compliant. Any questions on the desktop version or on the mobile app?
This is Amy. I'm just thinking out loud here. The desktop version probably wouldn't be as popular for end users just because we have the firewall. So if people are on the go, they're probably going to use their phone. But I'm just thinking out loud.
Is it worthwhile to still mention it to them, or should we?
No, I'll mention it to them, but we have to test it because it may get blocked as well. Hopefully it won't get blocked. It shouldn't get blocked.
Is it possible, could one of you be my guinea pig, and when you're at your work computer, try going to amplify.hootsuite.com, try sharing things, and let me know?
And Tony, I'm thinking about this one, and I think that maybe we shouldn't even mention it because they might get confused with the Hootsuite dashboard. And I
don't even know why they're not one thing. I'm still confused as to why Amplify's desktop version is not the same as part of the dashboard. So maybe we don't bring it up. And then the other point that Amy brought up, that's another good point, not to bring it up.
Yeah, exactly.
So let them go to one place on their desktop, which will be the dashboard.
Yes.
Do one set of things with their editing posts and editing can posts, and then they go to Amplify to share pre-approved content.
Yes, correct.
Perfect. So what I'll do is we'll remove it from the training. Now, it is a good thing to remember, because if a few months from now you have somebody going like, I really wish I could just use Amplify from desktop, they'll still have it available. But in an effort to not confuse anybody, we'll just not mention it during the training and pretend that you never saw this.
Yeah, I'm going in right now to just see if I can share it.
Yeah, let me know if you run into any issues, because if you do have a problem, then we need to tell people definitely don't ever go to it. You'll have problems. But otherwise, we can just let them know kind of if it comes up, or if anybody ever asks about it, then we can tell them, but we'll treat it kind of as opt-in rather than introducing it to them during training.
I just did it. It worked.
You just did it and what, sorry?
It worked.
It worked. Okay, cool. So, but it still sounds like we'll skip it during training unless somebody asks or it comes up. Cool. Any other questions related to the mobile app? All right. So I mentioned at the beginning that we've got a few different avenues for support. This deck will be shared out with you, and you'll be able to access all of these email addresses. If you need any sort of tool support on the Hootsuite side, you can reach out to Syria, who is our engagement manager, or on the Proofpoint side of things, you can reach out to Aramis, and he can help you with any sort of issues or questions related to Proofpoint Social Patrol. If you have questions about your social program, things like what should I be posting, or any questions related to compliance, your two people to reach out to are going to be Tony or Sharon. They'll be able to give you information on that. If you're not sure who to start with, any one of us will be able to direct you to the right person. So if you are having any questions or issues and you don't know where to start, please don't hold back. We'll make sure that you've got all of the answers and access that you need. And just a quick note that there is a training survey. I'm going to add this link into the chat. It'll be included in the follow-up email that you receive later that will have the recording as well. Please take a quick moment to answer a couple of questions related to the training that I've delivered today. We use it to inform future sessions. And actually, this is a good note. I just want to ask this team, are you allowed to win swag? I know some industries don't want to win swag. If it's not allowed for the audience, I can switch it over and we won't include them.
What do you, Hootsuite swag? I don't even know what it is.
I think it's fine as long as it's not like over $100 or something.
Yeah. It's
no, it's like, it'll be literally like the mug in the alley that you see in the photo. I just wanted to double check because we can always switch that over.
Okay.
All right, and then,
sorry,
and that's it. That wraps up everything that I wanted to cover today. Any final questions?
I just have a comment. I want to give an update on Tony's and Mandy. So I'm able to see that whatever you share on LinkedIn, it was posted on LinkedIn. I can see it on your LinkedIn profile. So right now we're investigating how long it's taking for the app to refresh the share that you just made. But the post went through and it's been posted on your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, I just got one of them just showed up. One of them showed up.
Okay, so I'll follow up on that offline. So and tomorrow we have the Hootsuite Enterprise Dashboard session. So I'm sure you will be able to see and and how we're going to be sharing content and using those templates about the conference or some responses that we have already. But yeah, I'm going to be sending the presentation as well at the end of the session.
Anybody have any questions before we wrap up? So when we send these emails out for Amplify, for them to connect to Amplify and connect to Proofpoint, those will be over the next day or two. You'll probably get calls from your contacts in the business saying, what is this? I don't know what it is. You know, try to help maybe walk them through it, or they can set it up maybe while they're in the training. I don't know. But, you know, be prepared for, you know, and I'll be prepared too to get questions about this.
Yes, correct.
But just so everyone on the call knows, Pershing's executive committee knows about the program. I sent them a note earlier this week. I think it was yesterday. Today I spoke about it. I presented it at the partners meeting. And then I also sent an email to all Pershing seniors in the US and EMEA, because EMEA may participate. I'm not sure about the other countries, but EMEA looks like they're going to participate through Stephanie's team. They're gonna probably ramp them up over time as well. So just wanted you to know, people are starting to get informed, and I believe you guys are all meeting with in your business, you know, business line meetings. I believe you guys have already started to talk this out as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Sam.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And then we will meet again tomorrow.
Thanks. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, team. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.